Welcome, everyone, to the third week of our Breathe Well workshops that we've been going through. Oh, we've got someone coming in. Hello, Terry. Welcome.
Hello. Finally made it live. Yay.
Yay, you've made it. Hopefully, you've been able to track along the way.
Yes, actually, it was funny when you asked us to do the nasal testing. I'm normally a left nostril person, but the last 2 weeks I've had a sinus infection. And
Mhm.
so I'm like doing this, I'm going, oh, I'm right nasal, but I'm really not. It's just I to have blood
Well,
in.
and it fluctuates. So it's
Yeah.
normal for it to go back and forth over time. So I'm so glad you're able to join. Gina's got us recording. So we'll go ahead and get started today and we'll discuss a little bit more as we go. So welcome to week 3 of the Breathe Well workshop. So glad you were able to make time to join live. And as a reminder, kind of turning off those devices and setting them aside. This is this time for you to breathe and to learn a little bit more about your breath and the journey that we're on. So we'll go on to the next slide. And then Terry, you were just sharing some reflections from last week that you've had a little bit of a sinus infection. So that's affecting how you're breathing.
Yes, definitely. But I have to say the water breathing, I do a little bit more of a modified on like on the whiskey. I do more triangle and box to go to sleep. But I found the water very, very good between appointments and things.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you for that.
Excellent. Yes, excellent. That's exactly what it's meant for. It's kind of just to bring us back to balance as we, go into a meeting or just preparing our mindset for working with an individual, a client. So I love that you shared that. Thank you. All right. Okay, next slide. So today we're going to go a little deeper into some of the science of breath work. And with this, we'll go through the 3 phases of breathing, the nose versus mouth breathing, blood oxygen, CO2 levels, and then breath hunger. And we'll go into a little more of the science of this, but there's definitely differences with the pH in our blood with that breath hunger. And so we'll discuss that a little bit more today. Next slide. So we have the 3 phases of breathing, and this may seem pretty obvious, but we have inspiration, which is the inhalation. We have expiration, which is the exhalation. And then we have the rest, which is that interbreath period. And that inspiration or inhalation, this is the process of air flowing into the lungs, and it involves the active contraction of the muscles like the diaphragm and intercostal muscles, which we'll go into a little bit more, which they expand the chest cavity during this inspiration. And then obviously the opposite happening with expiration. So this is the process of leaving the air, leaving the lungs, and it's typically very passive, right? We're not thinking about our breath all the time, but when we start to really break it down, it's interesting to think about the recoiling of our ribs and our chest as we go throughout our day. The rest, that interbreath period, this is the short pause that occurs at the end of an exhalation. So between the breaths. And during this phase, there's just no airflow into or out of the lungs. So it's just a quick pause as we go through our breathing. Next slide. So some of the muscles that are involved in breathing, we talk about the diaphragm. So that's located, let me adjust my screen a little bit, just below the ribs. So our diaphragm is here. Those intercostal muscles are in the ribs, so the muscles that lie in between the ribs. And then the accessory muscles are in the neck and shoulders and back. And we may not even completely get into those muscles as we're going throughout our day because we're kind of shallow breathing. We talked about that shallow breathing that we do just when we're not thinking about it.
Mhm.
And when we have the engagement of those intercostal muscles, that is done through moderate breathing. So if we're running or if we're doing intentional breath work, we're going to engage some of those ancillary muscles in that process. So we think about the scalene muscles and then the sternum muscles that are interconnected here. And the pectoral minor muscles are also engaged in the rib activation and movement. And through exhalation, that coughing or yelling, so all of those muscles are involved in that as well. So then we get into the rectus abdominis, internal and external obliques, and transverse abdominis as well. So we think about this whole area from our neck all the way down through our bellies that is engaged in deep breathing. Next slide. I know Terry was sharing that, sometimes you have a sinus infection or something going on, and we don't have a choice. But when we have a choice, the nose versus the mouth breathing, nose is for breathing, mouth is for eating and speaking. So that's not always easily done. And so many times in our sleep, our mouth may naturally open. And that's why many people will use tape or other chin straps or things to keep the jaw closed because there are many benefits to having the air flowing through our nose. And we'll talk about that on the next slide. So why nose breathing? Well, when we breathe in, it naturally filters, warms, and humidifies the air that we're bringing in, and it's protecting our respiratory system. So there's reason that we want to breathe through our nose as much as we can, and this process is just more efficient, and it brings in greater health benefits through mouth breathing. Nasal breathing increases friction and resistance, which controls and slows down the airflow. So this increased friction triggers several psychological and physiological responses that lead to a more efficient exchange of oxygen in the lungs. The resistance that we have, that slower deep breathing, it actually creates space in nasal passages, and so it actually helps us to be able to breathe better. So when we talk about doing the 30-second or 30 count hold, that actually helps to trigger and open up sinuses. So even if we are having some sinus issues, it's good to even try to do those breathing exercises with the holds because it will actually help and expand and open up the nasal passages. And so we think about triggering those neuroreceptors in our sinuses. That signals the safety that we talked about, and that helps with rest and digestion. So it's important to use the nose in those ways as well. And then something we may not think about as much, but it actually impacts the jaw and palate development in children. So children that may have had a lot of allergies or sinus infections where they've had and forced to be breathing through their mouth, they actually may have to have more orthodontic care because the way the mouth forms as they're growing. And so that breath actually affects that. So if they're breathing through their nose and they're having a better quality sleep, this is going to have a long-term and lasting effect on them. So I mentioned sleep. So it definitely affects our quality and quantity of sleep as well. So anyone that snores or has struggle, they're going to not have as good a quality of sleep. So even thinking about sleep apnea, And those that have sleep apnea, they may have machines that help them to breathe through sleep. Also, breathing exercises helps with that. So I have a friend that's a doctor, and he was sharing with me that he's actually getting breath work that he's working on the side because it's actually was his breathing specialist helped him with that because of his sleep apnea. And it's actually, he's noticing a difference in that. So breath work is so important for those reasons as well. And then the adding of nitric oxide to our breath. So that nitric oxide aids in oxygen absorption in our bodies and has an antiviral and antibacterial property. So when we can get the nitric oxide levels up, that's actually helping our immune system as well. Next slide. And so oxygen's role, well, it's essential. We know it's essential. It's one of the things that we talk about just in life, but it's essential for every cell in our bodies. The oxidation chemically changes food and liquid into energy, contracts muscles, repairs cells, and feeds your brain. It also is a part of the cleansing process within our bodies. So when we think about also the brain activation, oxygen is crucial for optimal brain function. The concentration and memory muscles within the brain, without sufficient oxygen, brain cells can rapidly begin to deteriorate. So it is an important factor for us to breathe well, to have overall health within our bodies and including our brain. Next slide. CO2's role, we may not think about this one as much, but it is an important factor of the vasodilation within our bodies in the blood vessels, dilation of breathing passageways. So it actually opens up and allows for better blood flow whenever we're breathing. So it has that important piece to it, and it helps with uh, diffusing the small muscles of blood vessel walls and in that elimination of waste. So getting the waste out of our bodies and moving it along. So it's taking it through the bloodstream and pulling it out of our bodies. So we think about toxins that we come into contact with, the air we breathe, or even within the water that we drink. All of these things that we come into contact with, our bodies are beautifully made to be able to process those toxins out, but we have to give it, every opportunity to be able to do that. Next slide. So O2 and CO2 are actually good. So the goal is balance. And we talk about that a lot with our breath. I know Terry was sharing earlier that she's been working with the water breathing, that balanced breath throughout the day and how important that is. And Terry, do you want to share anything about how it changes your maybe mindset or how you feel?
Well, it's definitely a mindset shift after the Zoomathons that we generally have during 11 and 1 o'clock on every day. I've noticed that when I can do the water breathing before I go in, I'm in a better frame of mind. I'm feeling more confident to talk. Even less grabbing, like when you're speaking, you have a tendency when you're catching your breath, you're like, and you're clearing your throat, and you're doing stuff. I found that it was helpful going in, and then it actually became a detox. At the end, when we were done at 1 o'clock, we would stop, we would get something more to drink, and then do some breathing. And it actually cleared the way to be able to like refocus on something completely different. So
Love it.
I found it very, very helpful.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for sharing.
Even the nose, the alternating the nose, I think it's helped clear
Yes,
some of the congestion that was going on because I was getting nosebleeds and congestion with it. And it's a seasonal thing.
sure.
I'm just sensitive to mold, but that even helped.
Yeah, yes, it gives us another tool, right? That we're able to utilize the alternate nostril breathing to help open up passageways And, you sharing, it's kind of that getting that oxygen and that breath moving into the brain, allowing it to work and allowing us to be calm and reserved and coming in with a clear vision. I love that. Thank you. So the exchange is essential for health. Yoga breathing is mostly about manipulating the CO2 levels in the lungs and that blood. Next slide. So next I want to talk about breath hunger. And so we've already kind of discussed this a little bit, but we're going to go a little deeper into it. But just start by being gentle with your breath hunger activities. So when we talk about that, we're talking about using our pranayama mudra, closing off the passageway and holding our breath. Um, Definitely beginning short, controlled breath holds, gradual increases in duration. So don't judge yourself for not being able to hold for a long period of time. It's really not about that. It's about more about the non-judgment zone and being gentle. And when you have that urge to breathe, taking a breath, it's okay. It's not about trying to beat your last time or any of those things. It's really about noticing where you are at different times of the day, whenever you're testing, and see if you start to notice any differences. Returning to calm breathing. So those long holds will actually help to reset us. I use it a lot at night. This breath hunger activity, it's one that I just don't have to think too much about. I don't have to get the brain too involved. So if I wake up through the night and it's like, okay, I just want to get back to sleep. So I'll do those, count to 30s. And so that focused attention with the breath hold just allows me to start to relax again. I may wake up in the middle of the night and feel like a right nostril domination. Then it's like, okay, I know I need to do some breath work here. So resetting that and getting that return to calm breathing is so important. And then paying attention to the physical sensations. So, what you might notice, that self awareness, becoming aware of this sensation helps you perceive subtle signals in your body. So you might start to notice maybe your shoulders relax, or you may just feel more relaxed in that time. Those subtle signals are extremely important. And then slowly it increases the CO2 levels through breath holding, and it does have this calming effect. This practice helps you differentiate between the body's true physiological needs and anxiety-driven responses as well. So that next slide, please. All right, so we're going to take some time to breathe. We worked on bellows breathing last time, so we're going to bring that one back in. Terry, I don't think you were able to join us live. Have you been able to practice the bellows breathing at all? And Michelle, I don't know that you were on that one as well.
Um, I tried it once. I haven't been able to incorporate that one as much.
Yeah, this one, so this again, this would be a coffee category, or that, recharge in the morning, kind of wake
Okay.
yourself up maybe before a workout. If you're getting, and if the balanced breathing is not enough to balance during the middle of the day, you might be able to use this one in the early afternoon. I wouldn't do it too late in the day, but it can definitely be incorporated. So think about our breath. When we inhale, our belly expands. And when we exhale, it contracts. So this is going to be a quick in and out. And I'm bringing my hands up higher so that you can see them. But this will be your belly, and I'll lead you through this. So just take a moment to relax. And then we'll go through a count of 20 or so breaths. And so you'll be inhaling and exhaling forcefully. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Inhale, exhale, 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 inhale, exhale. Relax. Were you able to get that in and out forcefully. Yeah. Did you feel any difference? I know that was a quick demo, but it kind of brings that energy. It's an energy inducing breath. So this is one that you do it for about 3 rounds in the morning. It can take the place of that other coffee breathing technique, that fire breath that we've done as well. So this is an alternative to that one that you can incorporate it in. So it's something to try. Some people like this one a little bit better because they're actually thinking about the inhale and the exhale, whereas the other one, it's just exhale, exhale, exhale.
Yeah,
And that may not come as naturally to take in that breath.
I agree because I do the fire breathe. I do the fire breathing in the morning, and this I think actually is it's even an even easier reset because you're literally focusing in out in out in out
Yes.
for the count.
Very good. Yeah. And everybody kind of has their preference. So I appreciate you sharing that. But sometimes the other one is just, I just have to worry about the exhale. I don't even have to think about the inhale because it just happens naturally. So that's just another tool to put in your tool chest. And so this next one is tongue breath. Um, some people uh, struggle because of a sinus infection or other reasons for their nasal capacity to not be at full strength. So taking in an inhale may be difficult. So with tongue breath, I don't know if you can see my tongue. I'm going to demonstrate that you make that little U with your tongue. So everybody's able to do that. Okay, good. So some people can't do that with their tongue, by the way. It's just a strange thing that they're not able to do that. So for those of us that can, we may not understand that some people can't. But what we're going to do with the tongue breath is we're going to take we're going to use it for a water breath session. So we're going to take inhaling on a 4 through the mouth with the tongue rolled. Then we're going to close our mouth and exhale through the nose on a count of 4. All right, so just take a moment to relax those shoulders down. All right. On your next inhale, tongue breath, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, close the mouth. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the tongue. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, mouth closed. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the mouth, tongue. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close the mouth. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, tongue rolled. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close the mouth. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last inhale through the tongue. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. How did that one feel?
Weird. It was weird. Yeah, it was not something I want to be, doing in public.
Right. Fair, fair, but it does give us an alternative to when we can't breathe through our nose. And
Right.
that's the most important piece on that one.
Yeah.
We can also do teeth breath. So having just the mouth relaxed, but if somebody can't roll their tongue, that would be the next solution. But that also has a cooling effect. So some people like it for that reason as well. It's just a different practice. And as you said, probably not one you would do in public, but maybe in traffic. It is a balance practice.
Yeah.
All right. So next, we're going to go ahead and do box breathing with the hold. So this is that whiskey category or evening practice. This one can be intense. We talk about box breathing all the time, but when we're actually using the pranayama mudra hold, that actually is shutting off all air and that we're not seeping it through. Because if we're just holding our breath, we have a tendency to still have air flow a little bit. And so the box breathing isn't as intense or productive if we're not doing the pranayama mudra hold. So we'll practice that next. So just take a moment, take in a nice deep breath, and just relax those shoulders down. Good. Go ahead and bring in an exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release, exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Close. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Close. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Close. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release. Inhale. Last round. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Close. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Beautiful. How did that feel?
That's the
Oh,
one I'm
it's
most
wonderful.
familiar with. So it,
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the one I usually use about this time of day.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is one that, you typically would use this more in the evening, especially with the close and
Yeah.
that hold. That one does become a little
This is
more
my
intense.
half a day. This is like when I shift to either doing more creative work or I'm resetting for a client or something. So this is like I need to do. I really need to do that total shift. And then in the evening, I was going to ask you about this. I do a longer box where I do like a 4-6 or a 4-8 count.
Yes. Yeah,
Is that
absolutely.
overkill or
No, no, and this comes with practice. As you continue your breathwork practice, then you're going to continue to be able to play with that a little bit and do what works well for you, right? When you start to see the benefits from that, the longer holds is what, I demonstrated with that count of 30 through those holds in the evenings, and especially for inducing sleep and kicking on that parasympathetic nervous system, we are definitely um, wanting to induce, rest and digest. So if that's working for you, definitely keeping that in your practice. Beautiful.
okay. I just didn't know if it was like overkill, like if it was too much.
No, I would listen to your body. So if your body is feeling, if it's causing stress and not relaxation, then I would say it's
Mm.
overkill, right? So when we talked about that gentleness, being non-judgmental, like sometimes we push really hard to get things done. We want perfection and we're seeking perfection. So being giving ourselves some grace and being able to just breathe sometimes is more important than the count, and so we have counts that we use just to give us muscle memory. And I mentioned this early on, is that if the count is 4 on the bottom of the box breathing and you're holding and you need to take a breath, please take a breath, right? And so it's not about getting it right, it's about practicing. And then in your own head, maybe you're needing to count a little faster than that 30 count, right? Maybe you need to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to get to 30 to give yourself that grace as well. So great. Thanks for asking that. All right, next slide. So just reflecting back, hopefully everybody, it sounds like some of you have been practicing this on a fairly regular basis and you're starting to get the hang of it. We will get into a little bit more next week into the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. I keep talking about it, but we're going to get into it a little deeper as to all of the systems that it actually is engaged with in our bodies. And so we will get to that next slide and wrap for today. And with this one, it's just that reminder of the nasal cycle test. I know, just checking it out. If you're starting to notice anything before or after meals, has anybody tried it with the meals to see if you're noticing a difference before or after eating?
I forget to do it after eating, but I'm doing better in the morning and like when I wake up and then before I go to bed, I was like, I know this seems so weird, but this is really cool.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Terry, I saw you had a comment.
Exactly. It's the same thing. I was like, in the morning, it's like, okay, cool, this is great. In the evening, it's like, ooh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if we're amped up, right? And we're needing to settle down for the evening. If we are noticing that's like, oh no, I actually need to get to bed because I have to get up, in 7 hours, no matter what. So the more sleep I can get, the better. So excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, I hope you all continue to incorporate your breath work throughout the week. We have one more week next week. Anytime in between, you can reach out on the Facebook group or send me a message. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have and breathe well, ladies. Take good care.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.